Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. Rowena Winkler here. And oopsie doopsies, I'm so sorry that I'm super duper late with this. I totally intended to get here on time, but that's what I get for putting things back to back to back. I teach a strategic communication class on Wednesday nights, and I thought that I could wrap that up and get here sooner, but it's all good. We're here, and anyway, it's in the vein of what this full moon is about, which is Libra, which is relationships. And I was ensuring that my students who are graduating this master's program knew what they were doing for their next assignment. So it is all good. So today, well, actually, technically, if you're on the East Coast like me, we will be having our full moon after midnight, 12:34 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's not too late. Actually, it's probably a really good time to start reflecting and thinking through what this full moon means and what we can derive from it. And hopefully, you saw my reel. If you haven't, take a look because I talk through three ways that we can ground and balance because as you know, Libra is the scales. And so how can we think about finding more balance in our relationships, which is also another area that Libra is super focused on. That energy is about relationship building and about service. But if we are teetering one way or the other, if we're not balanced, if we're not grounded, if we're, like giving too much of ourselves and whatnot, then everything's gonna just fall apart. So, take a look at that. And as we consider this full moon, let's think about how we can celebrate because full moons are all about celebration. So, celebrating the relationships that feed our souls and enable us to step into our authentic selves, as I'm all about. The folks that support us, the relationships that maybe it's not even maybe it's not always in a puppy rainbows kind of way, but the folks that push us to our edges. I know that I've had people like that in my life that allow us to be better, that allow us to see the stuff. And we're going to talk about that because I intend to bring up, reading Existential Kink by Carolyn Elliott and just talking about the shadow and how we can explore that because not only do we have this full moon in Libra later tonight, but also the sun is conjunct with Chiron. And what does this mean? Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And essentially, the story behind that is that we all have these things that we're working to heal from that are a part of us. And, part of this journey in these meat suits on this in this iteration of this planet is to discover and to learn how to work with some of those painful moments and challenges in a way that um, enable us to grow and to learn from the human experience. And these could be things that take a long time but are a part of us. And so we're going to talk through that in just a little bit. So here we are, Libra time, Libra full moon. I have this from my witch's date book, a little passage here from Diana Rachel. It's also known as the pink moon, named for the wildflower blossoms first appearing in the northern hemisphere. I'm in the DC area. We got the cherry blossoms, so we got the pink moon, which is happening tonight, and it's a time, as we're going through the seasons, it's a time for things to blossom, right? And I mentioned the celebration of relationships, but this also could mean the release of relationships as well. It's reflecting back on perhaps there are people, situations, experiences, partnerships that may no longer serve us, and maybe part of that journey is finding the courage and the wherewithal to know that, okay, my season with you is ended and it's time to move on so that I could blossom in these other areas. And that's totally cool, right? It's totally okay. We're not really taught how to break up with friends, but sometimes those things just happen. Um, and so while the brightness of this moon can bring us hope, as I mentioned, there's also the shadow side, and especially with this Chiron piece of it too, this wounded healer, these things that are challenging and painful, but how can we be resilient despite that? How can we move past that? And how can we take the disappointments, the shadow, the healing as ways to mm, to use it as a lesson, and use it as a power source, right? A way for us to move into, um, whether it's through teaching or whether it's through our stories, whether it's through our own narrative, whether it's through, our spiritual practice. How can we take those wounds and those challenges and transmute it in ways that that could be beneficial and inspirational to other people? So as we think about this full moon, right? Not only are we considering the ways that we have have helped ourselves and our partnerships and built relationships, but also maybe there have been times where we've been disappointed, and reflecting on that and sitting with that and knowing that, this is part it's part for the course, right? Um, what are some ways that we may have not met expectations ourselves, or others have not met our expectations? And again, with no attachment or judgment, just observations that is. um yeah, and how can we express disappointment? How can we express the release of toxicity in relationships in a way that is healthy? Are there opportunities where we can reframe things in a way that is more productive? Is there a way that we can direct our energy in a different way, right? So these are the things that we can reflect, and that brings me to this. As I mentioned, I've been reading this book for one of my book clubs. I'm in several, which is exciting because as a perpetual student, I feel like I hadn't read for pleasure in like years and years, and this is like 2023 has been great. Um, but she gave this really great uh, exercise that I thought was very appropriate and something that I definitely want to do myself. Where the heck is it? Now I can't find it. It is essentially telling a story. Oh crap. No, I can't find it. Oh, here it is. All right. So, uh, oh no. Wait. Is that the Yeah, here we go. Okay, so here's the prompt, right? So this book, um, essentially the gist of it is, and read the book to get more info. But what existential kink, it sounds like more kinky than it is, but basically it is this shadow work that we do, and perhaps in our like deep subconscious we're feeling, like these things that are that are the shadow. Maybe there is a desire, there's like a want and desire attached to it, and like how can we then think of these things and think of these aspects of ourselves that maybe we're ashamed of or feel guilty about, and just kind of move through it and like feel into it and like accept it like as we are, right? It's this process of integration. So I thought that this prompt and this exercise that she gives is a great one, given that we have this Chiron situation happening here. So, and I think because for me personally, and I apologize, I know I sound like I have emphysema or something. I'm coming off of a cold from probably my kiddo, but also because I was just in a musical for like the past month. So I think because this focuses on like drama and theater, I'm like here for it. So notice that the making of drama, of theater, of fiction is one of the great pleasures of human life. Um, From the pettiest gossip to the most refined tragedy, all dramas come from the same exquisite impulse to feel the fun of tension, conflict, uncertainty. Imagine that an all powerful being has freely decided to be you in your life exactly as it currently is. Writing from the perspective of this all powerful being, explain what dramas and games and fictions are being played out in your life. What motivates the game? What are the payoffs? Excuse me. Who are the evildoers? Oh. In the drama, the adversaries in the game. So, um, there was there was an example here that I felt, and again, it makes me think of this Chiron piece, right? Like we can get into this like victimy mindset, like, oh shit, like I'm always this is this and that and that. But I love this exercise because it's like, here's an example. I like to relax by pretending that I'm limited by my past actions and decisions. I play a game in which my own invisible past self is the adversary, right? So it's like, oh, this stuff has happened to me. So this is the game that I'm playing with myself. And even though there's no one else to put in this evil position, I'm putting my own invisible past out there. So, right, it's like a self sabotage thing. So I thought it was a really interesting exercise that I definitely want to do. And it definitely puts things into perspective because as a theater person, and I feel like I've been guilty of this, like being like extra dramatic or being extra like wanting to, blame things on things. But I think it allows you to be really introspective. And it again goes back to like, what are these challenges and how can we reframe it in a way it's like, oh, I'm just like playing games. Like I'm just like incorporating this drama when there doesn't need to be. And I'm releasing it in this full moon in Libra today because I no longer need it. It no longer serves me, and it's not allowing me to integrate and get to the next, the next phase, the next level that I could be if I wasn't, excuse me, if I wasn't getting in my own way with all this shit. So that was what I thought was really interesting about that exercise. I do encourage you to read the book. It's very interesting. And then also, yeah, I mean, even though Libra is all about balance and it's about this, it's like service and relationships, I love that this Chiron flavor, this like overlay of Chiron also incorporates like, yeah, it's not all like yay. There's an aspect that's like, well, wait, let's be realistic here. Let's see what are some of the underlying issues and problems and some of the things that may be at a deeper subconscious level that may be impacting us from really living out like and really having those deep relationships. Excuse me, let me drink some water because that's what happens when you belt your face off on stage for like multiple weekends. Um, so I thought that the card pull that would make the most sense with this vibe and with this like, yeah, I'm gonna embrace my hurt and shadow and like reframe it because I'm all about a good reframe. I was thinking Sacred Rebels by Alana Fairchild felt very appropriate because again, it's like a rebelliousness to it. Um, that sometimes the balance is in, like things aren't black and white. It's not always like, oh, this is good, this is bad. It just is. That's cool, and that's okay. And so how can we find ways to not, I don't know, like not sweat the small stuff so much? Oh, that one wanted to come out. Ooh. In the world, not of the world. Dun dun dun. What does this mean? Okay. Her messages are quite long, so hopefully it has to have a voice. Beep boop boop bop. Okay. That guy just like hopped out real fast. It was like there was like no okay. It's safe for you to become naked with life. This doesn't necessarily mean stripping off and running wild in public. It does mean stripping back your beliefs, strongholds, and mental or emotional security blankets so that you can live with less obstruction than ever before. Imagine the conditioning that has kept life away from you, just kept it dropping out of your hands like keys, coins, or clocks. Conditioned beliefs about money, time, security, having, locking away, holding, and controlling can be surrendered and allowed to fall away. What would it be like to feel as though you were on holiday every day? Perhaps there would be a softening in your way with life, an implicit trust in its flow, and a faith in the ability of time to bend and stretch as needed so that all may be accomplished. It is at an advanced stage of our spiritual relationship with life that we're able to feel held within it sufficiently enough to surrender our defenses, layer by layer, and to nakedly accept what is. This oracle comes as a message to you. Sometimes we need our defenses. At other times, it's clear we've outgrowing them. There's something that you have outgrown. Very full moon. It has to do with your ideas about productivity, time, control, and money. It has to do with abundance, trust, and living with the fundamental belief that everything is going to turn out okay. You're ready to be much more vulnerable and exposed in life. You don't have to hide behind being organized, perfect, in control, or financially secure and stable. Nor do you need any other acceptable social face. It's time for you to loosen the strings of your own controlling nature. They're too tight and too restrictive for you anyway. You are born to live in a much freer way. When you live as you innately are, rather than how you've been conditioned to be, you'll experience greater joy, freedom, and support. When you're not resisting yourself or resisting life, there is less resisting what you need as it comes to you. You have, that doesn't mean anything. You are being stripped. It's just referencing another card, which we didn't pull. You are being stripped of internal beliefs that are failing you, perhaps externally as well. Whether this seems to be your choice or not, make no mistake, it's your own spirit in cahoots with the loving spirit of life that has brought this situation about. Ooh, see again. So like honoring like all the stuff that's happening. Okay. So you're being called to trust. You understand and know this is all freeing you. After letting go, there comes a temporary emptiness that provides a greater space for fulfillment to come forth. So, in terms of the healing process here, in addition to that, rewrite of the story exercise that I really liked from Carolyn, just want to make sure I got her name right. Carolyn Elliott, Dr. Elliott. Here's another way that we can heal and process and bask in the light of the full moon here. Imagine you're running naked into a sea, ocean, river, or waterfall. Oh, the Pisces in me loves this. Be cleansed, feel it happening, be with it, and enjoy the sensation of it. Feel freed of any weight that you no longer need, be it physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. Let go on all levels. So yeah, let's just sit because we have, yeah, I don't know. All right, so. Oh, gee, I've had a busy day. So, taking the time to reflect on and allow any feelings of guilt or shame or should or, any of that, just as the message uh, invites us to do. Just pretend that we are, in that river or ocean or what have you. We see the beautiful, beautiful pink full moon up above, illuminating us as we wash away all of those feelings. And also, we also, at the same time, are going to bring in, we'll like take a little, maybe we'll cup our hands and take a little sippy sip of the water to symbolize that not only are we washing away the things that no longer serve us, but we're also accepting the things that are, and that, you know, everything that may be, whether it's disappointment, whether it's hurt, whether it is, these conditioned beliefs, right? These are things that are a part of us, and that maybe we are being called to work through in this iteration of our souls in our lifetimes, in order to then come back with more lessons and to gain more insights than ever before. Libra Libra is the symbol of justice and of balance and of relationship. So by accepting ourselves, because that is the truest expression of love and relationship, is having one with ourselves and being able to understand that we can accept and love ourselves as is, with all of the baggage and all of the stuffs that we're working through, but knowing that we can, be okay in this place and just enjoy it and see it as this game, as Dr. Carolyn Elliott reminds us to do. And so we're just going to wash ourselves in this ocean. We have this pink moon ahead of us, and we're thinking about all of the people who have supported and have been there for us in our various iterations and our various evolutions, and that will be there for us to come. We also think about the folks that may have served in a season or served a purpose, who may have been there for us in one iteration, but no longer here with us. And, it may have hurt and it may have been a loss. And of course, we're grieving that loss, but we understand that they were there for a purpose and a reason, and they are part of our story and part of our journey. And we don't have to have any ill will or feelings toward that, because everyone has steps into our lives for a particular reason, and they are here to give us a lesson, give us something to learn. And despite whether it is a challenging or even a painful lesson, it is something that we will take with us and we will move forward, and that we can experience everything in a moment to moment, intentional and very present basis, and find ways to ground and maintain some sort of balance, so that we can move forward, especially in this Aries season, because it is a very fiery season. So with that, we look up at the moon. We thank you. Thank you to Libra full moon for these many blessings and these many lessons. And we release anything that we feel is maybe perhaps getting in our way. That's producing this self-sabotage that we can oftentimes do, that are bringing forth folks that we know are not going to enable us to be our best selves. And we are going to celebrate all of the things that enable us to be our best selves, our most aligned selves, and to be in partnership with those folks that bring us to our most beautiful, amazing, empowered selves. So, da da da, wowie kazowie. So there that is. So uh my thinking is that moving forward, I had to slow down a bit with these things because of I was in a musical and there was a lot going on on my end. I'm officially at 23 weeks of my pregnancy. So I think things are gonna just keep on getting a little more involved from here. But I do really enjoy doing these, and I'm thinking that maybe for the Intermuse membership folks, we can do more um, individualized, personalized card readings and whatnot, and just continue doing these things as part of a bigger, offering and whatnot. I do intend to revamp things over the next 3 months. That's one of my goals as I move into the third trimester of my pregnancy. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for bearing with the lateness of kicking this off. Thank you for bearing with my not really uh, all their voice. And yeah, I hope that you have a beautiful full moon, and that you're able to take away from the lessons, not only from Lady Libra, but also from that wounded healer Chiron, and that we can uh, take away some valuable lessons from even the shadow and the not so fun stuff. So until then, I hope you'll have a wonderful, wonderful night. And, I know for me, this full moon is at its peak when I'll probably be sleeping, hopefully. So we will just woosah and like get all the things that we need to get from this beautiful full moon, especially since we're going to be getting into eclipse season. So stay tuned, because that is happening April, what is that? April 20th, early in the morning. No, just kidding. Yeah, April 20th is the total solar eclipse. So their eclipse season is bananas, because there's just gonna be a lot moving very, very rapidly. So let's, like, again, get balanced, get grounded, watch the reel if you want those tips, and we will talk again soon. All right, y'all. Take care. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.